So glad you all are here. All right, now let's have our dumbbells handy, and then you might want a squeeze object. We can go ahead and grab the squeeze object. That can be a yoga block, a pillow, or an exercise ball. And let's go to our mountain pose. We'll put that squeeze object between the inner thighs. We'll make sure the knees and toes, hips and shoulders are all forward. And let's take some nice, deep, full breaths. Engage the inner thigh by squeezing that object, helping us to engage the pelvic floor and the glutes, which then helps us engage the abs and the back. So abs, back, pelvic floor, glutes, inner thigh, all of that squeezing in and nice and contracted. Feel those feet on the earth, spread the toes. We don't lock the knees. Let's take some nice deep full inhales. And release. Taking a moment to just be standing on the earth, to just be breathing, being in this moment right here, right now, letting go of everything behind us, letting go of everything in front of us, and just be right here in this moment. This breath, this inhale, this exhale. Great. And let's flow in and out of chair pose, keeping that spine straight from tailbone to top of the head, making sure the knees are not out past the toes. Keep that chin up, and we can add that breath to that flow. You could also do powerful pose if you wish. Yawn and stretch those jaw muscles. The jaws and the hips have a lot to do with each other. So as you move through those hips, I want you to yawn and stretch those jaws. And if your jaws are really tight, take your hands and rub those jaws as we flow and move. A pigeon pose is a great pose to do a yawn in. You can really feel those jaws release when we stretch the hip rotator in a pigeon pose. All right, now let's take the same move we've been doing here, the chair pose, and let's grab our heavy dumbbells. Make sure your squeeze object is secure, and let's flow in and out of that chair pose, keeping that spine straight. You can have the dumbbells on the thighs and then come up and squeeze the shoulder blades together, working on your posture, standing nice and tall, pulling those shoulders away from the ears. Those shoulders tend to creep up towards the ears through the week as we drive and sit at desks and just deal with all the things we deal with. Those shoulders get more and more stressed. So when we stand up, pull the heart forward, pull the hands back, let the dumbbells pull the shoulders down, keeping the shoulders, of course, in the sockets, and keeping the elbows with a micro bend in them, and just kind of flow with that. Now, if you want that to be a little harder in the core, put the dumbbells up on the shoulders and flow with that. Keep the abs very tight, flowing, moving, breathing, feeling those feet grounded and connected to the earth. Just adding a little resistance to that move. And then we're standing in our mountain pose. Take those dumbbells, hinge forward, knees bent, and pull the elbows towards the heavens in a row. Squeezing behind those shoulder blades. Keeping the spine straight, squeezing that pelvic floor. Keep the abs and back nice and tall and strong. Keeping that torso tall, keeping everything contracted. Then keep the knees bent, slowly set those down on each side of the mat. You can use them like yoga blocks, or you can just set them aside, bend the knees, try to get the stomach on the thighs, and then straighten the legs, keeping the stomach on the thighs. Inhale, look out, like a monkey pose, and then exhale, look in, standing forward fold. Moving with your breath, stretching through the back of those legs, lengthening through the spine, keeping the core muscles contracted. Then if you're using those dumbbells like blocks, set those aside, put your squeeze object aside, and then let's go into down dog. Spread the fingers, middle fingers forward, hips up, abs in. Pedal those feet. Work through the back of the legs. Don't lock the elbows. Spread those fingers. Breathe. And then go into the down dog and lift both sets of heels and push the heels down. Then you can try, when pushing the heels down, to try to lift the toes, keeping the ball of the foot on the earth. Feel how that stretches across the bottom of that foot. And then one more time, let's go to all fours, cat-cow. Moving through the spine. Breathe. Cat-cow. And then you can flow here in like a half series sun salutation if you know how to do that. You can stay in cat-cow, or you could move from child's pose towards cobra. If we do cobra, we make sure that those abs are very tight. We're contracting around that spine, keeping it in control. We're not locking the elbows. The hands end up underneath the shoulder joints. When you're forward, the chin is parallel to the earth. We're lengthening the abs, but holding them in strong. Moving and breathing and flowing. Feel those hands, knees, and feet connected to the earth. And then meet me in a seated position. Excuse me. Let's place one hand on the earth and one hand up and over, and just open up through that side body. Excuse me. Breathe and open and stretch. Oh. Whew. I want you to take some nice deep breaths where you really let go on the exhale. Really. So inhale nose, exhale. Inhale nose, exhale. Maybe move the shoulders. Maybe hold on to the knees and move that low back. You can rotate one way and then the other way. Whatever feels good to you in this moment, whatever helps you let go of whatever was going on this week. Just release it. Pull those shoulders away from the ears. We continue to hold the core tight. Now let's turn and lie down. Make sure you'll be able to grab your dumbbells. So like I'm going to move mine down a little bit. So make sure you'll be able to grab those, and we can use our squeeze object again, so you can grab that. And we're going to lie on our back. Put the squeeze object between the inner thighs. Make sure you're comfortable in your hips. Get those hips in place. Neutral spine in that low back. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. Turn the head right and left. Work through any stress or tension. Just trying to release that. Anything in the neck. Oh, great. Now let's grab these dumbbells. Be careful picking those up. Make sure you don't hurt your shoulders or anything as you pick those up. Option to hold the legs in tabletop, or option to keep the feet down, but I want you to really squeeze that squeeze object. And then we're going to press the dumbbells towards the heavens and back down. Nice and slow and controlled. We're not locking the elbows once we get them up. Remember to squeeze around that pelvic floor. Keep the glutes nice and strong. Spine neutral. The spine is not moving. The spine is not arched too high or pressed down into the floor. It's in its neutral position. Great. And set those down. Put the dumbbells on the hips. You can put them individually on the hip bones or stack them on top of each other from the hips up the legs. But we want to always try to push the dumbbells towards the legs, not on the stomach. Then bring the heels towards the glutes. Keep squeezing that ball. Pull the shoulders down away from the ears. Maybe look a little right and left for a second. Once we lift into our bridge, we want our head to stay stationary. We don't want our head looking right and left. So if you feel like you need to get some of that stress out of that neck, do that now. And then head neutral, gently pushing the head back into the earth. And let's lift those hips up and down. Inhale on the way down, exhale on the way up. Keeping the natural arch in the neck. Inhale on the way down, exhale on the way up. Control the moves. And then when you're done, you're going to set those dumbbells off to the side. You can set the squeeze object off to the side. We're going to do ankle on the knee and gently pull this in. Holding underneath that bottom thigh. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. Pull the hips in towards the body. Option here to look right and left again. Notice if that helps, if that feels good to you. If it does, keep it. If it doesn't, then just keep the head neutral. Take some of those good deep breaths. Inhale, nose. Letting go of all the to-do list. Letting go of work. Letting go of people, conversations. Just letting all of that go. And then switch to the other leg. Pull that in. Hold underneath that bottom thigh. Trying to keep that top knee pointing outward. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. So the legs are stretching the shoulders and the arms pulling in are stretching those hips. And then option to look right and left. Great job. Let's put the feet down. Feet together, knees open. Push the feet together. Squeeze the legs and relax. Squeeze the legs and relax. having a little contraction and release can help release muscle tension. Contract and release, and then just relax. Let's take one of these heavy dumbbells. We're letting the legs stay in a relaxed position. Then take one dumbbell and we're going to take it towards the forehead with the elbows pointing upward, the elbows directly over those shoulders. And we'll do a tricep skull crusher. Try not to hit the forehead. You can even go a little past the forehead towards the top of the head, but try to keep the elbows right over those shoulders. Inhale on the way down, exhale on the way up. Keep squeezing that pelvic floor and pushing those feet together. Keeping the spine neutral, staying in control of the movement. You decide how many to do. Up to 20. And when you're ready, you'll set that aside. We're going to bring the knees together, extend one leg out. We're going to do a quad leg lift with that straight leg. We're only lifting it as high as the thickest part of the calf on the other leg. Option to put the hands behind the head and add an abdominal crunch to that. Inhale down, exhale up. The neck vertebrae are not moving. Up to 20 of these. Moving with that breath, controlling the movement, flexing that foot. Elongating from the foot through the head. And then roll on the side that had the knee bent. And do a quad stretch here on the side that was moving. We were just working the quad and the hip flexor and the abs. And now we're lengthening all of those muscles out. So think about lengthening from that knee through the top of the head. Flexing the foot helps protect the cartilage in the knee. Open up deep, full breath. Oh. Let's go to the other side. So we're on our back again. Extend the other leg. This bent knee helps us measure how high to lift this straight leg, only to the thickest part of that calf. You can just do the leg or hands behind the head and add that ab crunch. Slow and controlled, moving with your breath. Inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, exhale up. Great, and then roll over to one side, quad stretch. Lengthen through the front of that body. and let go of your weak. Oh, lengthen those muscles. Feel the stretch. Release into the stretch. And then let's come back on our back. Bring the arms down by the sides. Bring the heels in close to the glutes. Lift the hips up in a bridge. Keep the natural arch in the neck. Do not move the neck vertebrae. And try to march your feet, picking up 1 foot at a time without moving the hips, keeping the hips stable. We're working on deep spine and hip stabilization, especially around that sacrum, that lowest part of the spine, where it almost fuses with the hips. So holding at least a slight bridge up and trying to march the feet and not shake the hips. Breathe. And then let's hold a yoga bridge. Plant those feet, lift those hips, push those arms into the earth. Keep the natural arch in the neck. Push the head into the earth to contract those neck muscles. Option to roll one shoulder under, option to roll the other shoulder under, option to clasp the hands underneath. Pushing higher and belly breathe here, deep belly breaths. Knees and toes are pointing forward. Squeeze those glutes a little extra. Breathing deeply, and then when you're ready, release. We're going to bring the hips down and the knees to chest, option head to knees. Then lift the legs into like a teardrop shape. Point and flex the feet. Option head down. Great, and then stretch out long across the earth. Reach out, stretch out, breathe. Oh, remember that breath, inhale nose, exhale AH. And let's roll to one side. We're going to slowly sit up. Bend one knee in front. Reach one knee bent back behind us. Sit up tall and lengthen. And then drop to this elbow and reach through that arm. So it's stretching from that bent knee up through that arm. Nice, big, deep, full breath. Oh, great job. All right, I'm so glad to see you all are still out here with me. You should be proud of yourself for taking a little time for self-care, a little strengthening, a little stretching, a little breathing. And then let's switch sides here before we get up. Stretch open from that knee, through that hip, through the rib cage and the torso, and through those fingers. Oh. Letting go of anything that we need to let go of. And then let's come up to all fours. Back into that cat-cow, just getting the spine to move. I want you to think about each vertebrae moving slowly. Each vertebrae moving slowly. Nice, deep, full breaths. Opposite arm, opposite leg lift. We're going to hold this in bird dog. Lengthening from the fingers through the toes. This strengthens a muscle group called the erector spinae, the long skinny muscles along the spine. And switch is a very important stretch and strengthener here. You're working your balance. You're pulling your abs up against gravity. Working those spine muscles that help keep us erect. And you can get up in any form that feels good to you. You can flow, or if you need extra time getting up, just take your time getting up. You could go child's pose, cobra. You could add a chaturanga in there, down dog, hero, anything that feels good to you, and then make your way to standing. Oh, remember that inhale nose, exhale AH breath. Oh. Once you're up, I want you to really connect your thoughts to those feet. Grounding those feet, starting our weekend with our feet grounded, our feet planted on the earth, our roots growing into the earth. Oh, let's grab those dumbbells. Make sure you bend the knees. Keep the back straight when you pick those up, just like you would with a heavy box. And then you can keep your feet planted, and we're going to do a bicep curl with one arm at a time, shifting the weight, not internally, but we're going right and left, and so it's automatically going to shift the weight right to left. But I want you to not let your body shift. So then, to add difficulty to that, you can try to balance on one foot, and with that weight changing on each side at a time, it's going to throw that balance off a little bit. So you can work on that just to add a little challenge. Change the weight if you need to. Focus, breathe. We'll just do about 10 of these total before we switch feet. And then we'll switch feet. When you're ready, listen to your body. Do what feels right to you. Don't lock the knee. Keep that chin up, that head up, that heart pulled up. The abs pulled in, the back strong. And then we're gonna go long ways on our mat. So we're on the long side of our mat. We're gonna set those dumbbells down. And we're gonna go a little down, up like in a sumo squat or plie. And we're gonna do our finishing breaths here. Inhale up. Exhale down, moving at your own pace. Big, deep, full breaths. Reach and stretch and open through the ribs, through the hands, through that body. Oh. You can inhale and exhale. Let it go. Inhale, exhale. So just for today, we have only one more class coming up, and that is going to be the wall core class. You can do it without a wall. You'll just pretend you have a wall there, and if we lean on the wall, you just will do everything without leaning on the wall. Right, so no problem with or without the wall. I'm going to switch that over. We'll have about, 30 to 45 minutes, and we'll do the wall core. And so it'll be good stretching and core work, and then no dance class today, so unfortunately. And then I'll be back on Tuesday, so I hope you come back on Tuesday. Hands to heart center, my friends. Push that thumb to the heart. Remember to take care of your heart. And then put that thumb to the third eye. Remember to take care of your mind. Namaste.